Hi folks, Plumber Joe here, just showing you some of the basics of plumbing today. When you're plumbing, you need to know which part goes into which part. And in this example, you can see how those two pipes go together. It's 2 o'clock, December 23rd, minus 6 degrees, walking south on the KMP trail from White Lake Road. I've just spent a few hours today and a couple hours yesterday trying to install this new sink. Talk about frustration. What seems like it should be a simple job never turns into a simple job. I ran down to the hardware store this morning with a bunch of things I needed to get. And I thought I would also have to replace the trap underneath the sink, which is PVC piping. Anyhow, I got all the pieces for that, got it home, and it wasn't quite the right size. It was very close. So I called them back and the fellow said, "Oh, that's the only size I have. It could be a strange one you have." Anyhow, I went out to look at the old sink again and it still had the trap attached to it, but I didn't think I could get it off. I thought it was glued on, but actually I managed to unscrew it. So I think I can reuse that again, although it doesn't come quite centered under the hole of the new sink. And then yesterday, of course, we had the issue where the main faucet hose came out of the faucet itself. The hose goes through it and then it can extend out and back. And that was a battle. We had to string it, re-thread it through, and it kept catching on the inside. So after about an hour and a half, we finally got it. There's many times in my life when I wish I had a lot more knowledge about a few different trades. One of them is plumbing. Another one's electrician. Those are two very handy skills to have when you're trying to do things around the house. Another one would be welding. I've often thought it would be fun just to do a lot of hobby type projects with welding things. But there's always some doubt that you're not sure what you're supposed to get. I'm still agitated about the experience. I'm out here walking in nature for an hour and a half, and I'm still agitated. I can't wait to get back to the house and get more agitated over a simple little project that a plumber probably would do in 10 minutes. And it is nice to try things and experiment or whatever. And sometimes it's not even obvious how the pieces are supposed to go together if you didn't have them all together in the first place. You got little rings that overlap longer pieces of tubes, and some tubes have threads on them and other ones don't. Some you glue together, some you thread together. It's a real mixed up bag, that business of plumbing. I guess that's why some people get into it. They just love that experience of fitting one tube inside the other and then sealing it off and making sure there's no leakage there. That's the big thing about a plumber. You don't want to have any leaks or your business is going to go down the tubes. And if you want to be a plumber with no leakage, you really got to understand your gaskets. Are you going to use a fiber gasket or a rubber gasket? There's a big difference there, and you got to know when to use them and when not to use them. Or how about that silicone gel? Are you going to use that, or are you going to use plumber's putty? I can see why it's probably a 5-year apprenticeship to learn all the ins and outs of plumbing. And then you got your O-rings and your clamps and your screw clamps, hanger bolts for hanging your plumbing. Now, do you use copper plumbing or do you use plastic plumbing? What about the joiners? Do you use plastic or metal? My head's just spinning after a half a day of it. Of course I jest to a degree here, but it can be a confusing thing for the homeowner who wants to do a little of his own repairs. When you think about it, plumbing's probably one of the oldest trades known to man. From the most basic understanding of the flow of water, where peoples would have simply dug ditches or had very crude pipes going through the ground from one building to another, to now what has become a totally complex science, basically, depending what the plumbers would be plumbing. Anything from simple houses to extremely complex natural gas plants or things like that. you just see a maze of pipes and tubes that take up 3 acres or something, and you wonder how on earth can anyone ever plumb that or put those pipes together and know what the heck they're doing. It's beyond me. Anyhow, we're just coming up to the end of our hike. It's just been a short 3.5 kilometer hike today. And I hope you've enjoyed this discussion about the features of the trail. I know you're all getting bored with the standard discussion anyhow, so I thought I'd liven it up a bit with a bit of diversity. Today, plumbing. Tomorrow, installing your own solar energy facility.